Oh, hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, we're happy to have you. Welcome to Florida Garden Escape Channel. I'm currently holding one of our Canaan lilies that does need to go outside. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be doing today. Let me set that guy to the side here. So first things first, I do need to change black in our summer Florida 8 zone 8B. Not a good idea to wear black on a hot sunny day. Another thing, we are trying to beat some of the rain that's kind of rolling through. I'm hoping it delays as long as possible. But I do want to go ahead and throw out here, guys. So from this video, moving on, I'm going to start incorporating just some little fun activities, especially if you got your kids watching with you. I mean, I know my kids watch my YouTube channel, so I try and incorporate those little items, and I'll show you what those little items are as we go through. But first things first, go ahead and leave us a like down below, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that bell so that way you don't miss out on any new videos. Excuse me. I do want to go ahead and wish everybody this month who is in the month of July a happy birthday. Here from us here at Florida Garden Escape Channel, we hope you are having a great and wonderful birthday, and it's filled with lots of smiles and laughs, and you're just having a ball this month. We do want to go ahead and get that out the way. Now that we got all that done, I'm going to just really quick here, guys. We got a lot to do today. So this isn't going to be like our normal tour video. You're actually coming along with me today and seeing what I'm doing today. It's going to be a slam-packed full day. I'm going to be doing a lot of multitasking, doing some transplanting. We're also going to be doing something more towards our front garden to get it more to where I want it to look. So I'm really excited to be taking you guys, I'm really excited to be taking you guys along with what I'm doing today. So that way you guys can really see there is a lot of work that goes into gardening. I mean, I put my love and my passion. I mean, it's something I love doing for sure, like hands down. So gardening isn't just like a hobby to me, it's a passion of mine. And I want to share that passion with all of you. I mean, it's something great. You can get a lot out of it. My kids get a lot out of it. They get to see where all our fruits and veggies and things like that come from. I mean, it's a lot of learning, and this gardening is starting to come a bliss because of how many issues people run into. But just because you run into some failures doesn't mean you're not going to succeed. So, and I do want to throw this out there as well. Just if you have just even a little space or a big space, no matter the space you have, you can still make your own little unique garden out of it. Whether it be your flowers, whether it be your fruits or your veggies or whatever. Or if you just want a few Canaan lilies in front of your house, that is okay. Okay? You can do it no matter your space, I promise. Now, yes, I do understand some people do live in apartments, but even if you live in an apartment, you can still have your plants and get the greatest things out of them. I mean, you really can. So you're probably going to see a lot through our garden. Pots, a lot of things are in ground, but we still like the theory of pots. Like my carrots, I have those in like a bucket almost, but it does drain good. So that's a good thing. I mean, so we still, even with me having a whole acre to garden on, I still use the pots. Even like, I'm just going to show you guys real quick, even down to this guy. This guy has been in this pot since he was probably like yay high, and look how well he's doing. And that's just like a big old bucket trough thing right here. So I mean, you don't have to have acres of yard to do gardening, I promise. But enough of that. I believe in you guys. Love y'all. Y'all are the best. But enough of that. We need to change. We need to get started on our agenda. And then I'm also going to show you I'm going to quickly go ahead and show you guys the list of the items that we are having on our treasure hunt today. Along with giving you guys that list. After you see the list and you got it wrote down, I'll then show you the items you'll be looking for. Now, you won't see exactly where the items are until we start getting along in our videos and that, but you'll see them as we move through. So I'm going to go ahead and change. You guys check out that list, get it, take a picture of it, do whatever you need to do, get it, and keep an eye out for those items. Be back in a moment. Alright guys, so got changed obviously, and had some lunch before we got started on our agenda. Had to deal with a few phone calls with work, with my other job besides my gardening work that I have to do, because it is work, yes, but it's something I love doing. It's not something I have to do. But we're gonna go ahead and show these items. Now, I just showed you guys our treasure hunt list, and on our list, first up we have a stoned alligator. So the stoned alligator is going to be like a concrete alligator. He won't be painted or anything like that. He'll look kind of like our gnomes in a roundabout way. So I'm going to go ahead and show you our items that we're going to have throughout the garden. So you'll see this guy, you'll see him, you'll even see one that is painted like him. And this is the Barbie that we'll be looking for, along with the My Little Pony. Alligator will definitely look like these gnomes here, which will be, he'll look like them except an alligator. We'll also have a bird bath. The bird bath will have frogs at the bottom of it. It's just your basic little bird bath, but you'll see it when you see it. The other thing is a hummingbird feeder. The hummingbird feeder will be hanging up, and it'll have red with yellow flowers on it at the bottom, pretty much like your traditional hummingbird feeder. Now, everything else you did already go ahead and see, so we're going to go ahead, jump out to the garden, and let's get busy. Alright guys, so we're out in the greenhouse. I'm just overlooking everything in here, seeing what all is ready to be moved from out here to the garden. So let's go ahead and take a look together. So one thing we are going to be doing today is going to be transplanting this, not from its pot, but from its location. We're probably going to take this and take him to the front of the house. I would like to have some petunias up there. So we'll be taking him up to the front of the house today. And then, as you guys can see, we have tons of marigolds going on. We got our heirlooms going. They're not quite ready to go out to the garden / nursery area yet. We're going to let these guys sit here for a little bit longer. As you guys see here, we do have more marigolds. We got marigolds abundance, okay? And then here we do have our new, I did bring these guys out this morning. These are going to be our, and I forget the name of them to save my life. These are the melon crenshaws. So it's another variety of cantaloupes. Like I always tell you guys, plant varieties. As I do here, I plant so many varieties, my old man doesn't even know which ones I'm planting at times. So I do see here that these canna lilies are definitely much bigger. This one I just brought out today, as he is a new guy to the bunch. So we will take these 3 guys out to the nursery stand area. And then over here we got jalapenos right here. We got some hot peppers right here. This is going to be our mammoth basil, so it'll get a lot bigger than that basil over there. We got some dino kale going on. I'm going to get these guys moved out of here, and we're going to take them out to the garden area. We got dill, we got some pansies, we got lavender growing. All this is looking good. We're not going to take anything but the dino kale. Probably going to take these pansies, these 2 bigger pansies out, just so they can get some better custom to the outside weather, like the rain and things like that. So we'll move those. And then looks like a lot of our, I want to say this is a squash. This I do know. Okay, so this is our butter squash. So we're going to be taking butter squash out of here as well, and get them really friendly with their new climate as well. Because as you guys can see, even though it's hot outside, but it's a little bit cooler in here. It's still 82.2 degrees in here, which is still a really good temperature. It's pretty close to what it is outside, even though outside might be a little hotter. Our greenhouse is in the shade some, but it is still getting some sunlight. It's just a filtered sunlight is what it's getting there. But let's go ahead and find... let's get, sorry guys, I'm turning y'all all around. So I'm just going to take one of these, and these containers that y'all see here, I use to transplant my plants, whether it be to one of our stands we're doing or an event we're doing. So we use these containers as transporters pretty much. So I'm going to set him down here. We are going to take this one. I'm just going to kind of put them all in here. Now, I'm going to put them in here real nice and snug, so that way they don't really flop around and move around too much. Now, we said our dino kale needs to come out. Let's get that one in there. We're going to get this one in here. And then this one. Alright, and that's going to be our dino kale. And as you guys can see, I'm really like getting it all in here because I want it to be snug. I don't want it to move around at all. Alright, and we're going to get these pansies. These guys are looking a little good, but one's looking a little rough. Alright, there's that one. And that one. Alright, let's take this to the other area. Before we do though, let's get the other one too. So I'm going to set him right here. Now we might not be able to fit a whole bunch in there, but we're going to fit quite a bit. Even though these guys are getting the sun they still need that. They're still trying to reach for it as well. I don't want them to reach too much. So we're just going to go ahead and get all these guys moved. Aren't they just looking lavishing? Tell you guys, there is nothing like growing from seeds in your own garden. When you have a garden and you're growing your plants and getting them to see from seed to up, it's really great. It's a really great feeling. I love it to death. All right, so that's going to be about all we can fit there. Let's go ahead and take this one out. Oh. Now, one thing for sure with doing all this, it takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, raindrop, and a lot of work to move everything around, get everything out to where it needs to be for it to thrive. Now, for a lot of our plants that we end up doing, I'm just going to set you guys down real quick. There we go. For a lot of our plants that we do a trial. So I'll put them in the sunlight, let them get that full sun for their first few days, see how they handle the heat, things like that. After the first few days, I'll then move them, if they need to be moved, to another location or in a little bit more shadier spot. Just because they're not liking that heat that they're getting. Now, so far I haven't seen too much of the dino kale not liking the sun. So we're gonna leave these dino kales out here in our sun area just for the first few days and then see how they do. But let's go ahead and get the rest. And you guys, don't worry. We're gonna take you. Well, not we, because it's just me here. But we are gonna take you through as we're doing all this, the different areas that we have, because a lot has changed since we last did our garden tour. If you guys recently didn't see, we did a before and after video of how it started and then how it looks now. And if you didn't get to see that video, I'll leave a description of it. Just leave a link to it in the description below, so that way you guys can see too, because we were watching it the other day, me and the kids and that, and let me tell you guys, the difference was remarkable. Like, it was beyond remarkable. Like, to see the before and the after of our garden, it was just mind-blowing. Like, I couldn't believe how much it's grown and it's gotten big to this point. So I'm really happy, because we did all these plants, like good 98% of our plants are from seeds. Like, we didn't go out and buy a whole lot. There's probably a few plants in our garden. I could probably count the amount of plants we bought from a store on one hand. We didn't buy a whole lot, and that's just plants. Our trees, on the other hand, that we have out in the front, those aren't really, we're not really counting those, because let's be honest, growing a fruit tree from seed, we would be here for years. Like, to grow a fruit tree from seed, it takes about 5 years for a fruit tree to actually be mature enough before you can actually stick it in the ground. So trees are a little bit of a different story. Yeah, you can do them from seed, but it takes a lot of time for a tree to grow, especially if you're doing it in ground. Now, it's different if you're doing like container gardening and you're leaving that tree in a container. That time frame's different. But our trees, we wouldn't be putting in a container. We would definitely be putting them in the ground. We're going to take these last 4 squashes out. Y'all see the leaf flopping in there. We're going to take these last few out here. Trying to get as much done before my 9-year-old gets home from her summer reading camp. Because once she gets home, then I gotta go get her sisters from their grandmother's house, so that way we can go get them. Alright, let's get all these. That's gonna be it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just take this basket back on to the greenhouse, so that way I don't forget about it, because I be forgetting things at times, which we all do, especially if you have so much to do and so much going on. It's very easy to forget to do something, surprisingly. Alright, so I really don't know how much we're gonna get done. I'm already started to get some things done. I had a quick phone call with doctors I had to take real quick, but look at up there, well, besides the trees, of course, but we got some gray clouds rolling in here. I don't know how well y'all can see it, because I know my camera likes to enhance things, so it makes everything look brighter. Compared to over there, we got blue skies. Over here, we're getting darker. But I got my little tools here that we're gonna need. I went ahead and took my petunias to the front, because that's where they're gonna be. I need to get something to hang them with, because it's more like a hanging more like a hanging plant than anything. But before we do get started in what we're needing to do today, I'm going to show you the new stuff that we have here. Well, they're not new plants. Well, some of them are new plants, but not all of them are new plants. But this is just a new add-on to our area. It is just kind of using what we had around the house. Some stuff was brought to me by my old man from jobs that he went to do junk removal, and there were some things that people just didn't want, that they wanted to get rid of, and we were like, yeah, we'll take it off your hands, not a problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip you guys around. I have a slight feeling we might not get this all done in one day. This might be a 2-day video because of this rain. Don't mind the junk pile. It's been sitting there a while. We do plan on getting it removed eventually. It's all a work in progress, guys. But other than that, as you guys can see, we did some pruning to our cucumber plants. Now, as that sun is beating on us, we have our little nursery area. I've added some shelves. I've moved our tower because our tower ended up falling, and it took a hit when we last had a very, very heavy rain. But this is our new area where I'm bringing our stand plants out to, so that way they're used to the climates, the heavy rains, the heavy winds, and the hot temperatures. Because I gotta admit a little bit here that in our greenhouse and our grow tent, it is a slight of a difference between in there and out here. The temperatures are a little bit hotter out here, as we have been getting up in the 90s to close to the hundreds of a heat index. So it is slightly different when it comes to temperatures in that aspect. But what plant likes to be in 90-degree heat? I mean, really. But that's just the new little area. It's starting to thunder. Let's speed this up here. So we brought everything out. Everything's been doing pretty well here. It is a little bit of a disoriental and disorganized, but I mean, we don't have a whole lot of people coming out just yet. We don't hold our stands out here in the back by our big garden area. I try and keep our stand up more towards like the front of our property, along with going to other areas and places. Now, you guys if you haven't yet seen it, that's gonna be our squash. We got zucchini. Two of our zucchinis aren't looking too hot, but hopefully they'll perk up soon. We do plan on transplanting some Canaan lilies out today. I did go ahead and get our super sweet 100s are out here. We have some, these are a type of marigold, but I don't know the type that they are. These seeds were brought to me by my old man from a customer. And that's how we ended up with these. So hopefully I'll get some seeds from them, and we'll be able to get some more of those guys going. We do have some sweet peppers going on here, along with some flowers in the mix to help bring in those pollinators. I do have some marigolds here off to the side to help divert those pests from our plants. We do have some more up there in between our squash and our zucchinis. Now, these little plants up here by our top of our squash here, those are going to be orange sun bell peppers. And then these guys here are our habaneros. So we definitely have everything a little bit scattered out. You don't want anything of the same variety too close together, because if you have it too close, you could end up cross-pollinating and cross-breeding your plants. Which is actually what I've done with some of my marigolds. It's how some of my marigolds don't look like some of the marigolds you'll probably see in store. Now, as we get further down here, I'm just standing in some shade because it is very hot today. It's very humid. Kind of makes things hard to kind of work with. Now, these here are going to be our Black Beauty eggplants. I did just recently get those transplanted in here. Our tomato plants are looking beautiful, very beautiful. We haven't really added too much in here. I'm going to quickly go over to the other side of our tomato plants here, because we have to really divert from one thing for sure here in the garden. As you guys can see, this is our watermelon jungle, and I mean jungle, I mean jungle. They're going everywhere. They're growing beautifully. One thing we'll definitely have to come through here and do is we'll have to definitely come through here and do some pruning. I have a feeling we might have some critters in there, and along with some critters, we might actually have maybe some powdery mildew going on. I'm gonna really kind of look through it later today or this evening to check for it, because that is something we do face here in our Florida zone 8B, because we are very hot and we are very humid. Powdery mildew and downy mildew, it likes to get on our plants. And one thing for sure, guys, because I gotta sit down a minute, so it hurts to stand for so long. I have a compressed fracture in my back, so standing, well, along with I needed that. So it's standing for long periods of times, I start to hurt after some time of standing up, so I have to take as many breaks as possible, pretty much, just to ease that pain some. Probably one thing you guys are wondering is, Selena, how are you doing it? Like, how are you doing your gardening and still be able to keep everything flourishing and looking good? I mean, and not everything looks good. Like our cucumber plants, they look beat. Like they are taking a big hit from the downy mildew. I am trying to get some new cucumber plants put in. It's as time goes right now. Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning so much. I don't know why. But with our watermelon forest that we have here, I'm trying to stay on topic for you guys. One thing for sure with my back issues and things like that, I do have a lot of support through everything. I am going through a lot from not being able to work a full shift like most people can. Even though my gardening that I do, it's not work, it's something I love doing. But it is still a lot of work that has to be done with it. Oh, excuse me guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I keep yawning. Probably because I've been up since about 6:30 this morning. And been going with transplanting and everything like that. And it does take a lot out of me, because I do feel the pains, especially if I've done a lot. Oh my God, guys, check it out. So sitting here, look at him. He is just buzzing away at that hummingbird feeder. Yep, you guys can mark it off on your treasure hunt list. I am showing you the hummingbird feeder along with the hummingbird that we have there. And I don't want to go too close, because if I go too close, he will fly off. He comes pretty often, actually, to be honest. He comes very often. Look at him. He is just eating away. Him and another one, they come pretty frequently to the hummingbird feeder. I have extra hummingbird feeder juice in a container inside. So that way, once they get through that, I can just refill it back up, and they'll still have some hummingbird juice to feed on. So this is one thing I love seeing, guys. I love seeing it. I just love seeing it. Look at him. You can't even hardly see him from there. That is amazing, guys. And there he goes. Off he goes. Yep. I love my garden. I love it. I love the things that I get to see, like hummingbirds. I love one. But enough about me and my back and my problems and things like that. We're going to get back into the gardening. So, back into the gardening. We have our watermelon forest here. As we move through our watermelon forest, and I just seen something that really caught my eye. If you look down here, we have a watermelon growing. He's still small, but it is definitely progress. We can find tons of little small ones floating through this whole patch here, and it just really looks like tall grass. If you just look at it like from a certain angle, that's all it looks like. It just looks like tall grass, and it looks like it covers almost my whole garden, but it hasn't reached that whole point. So I'm gonna walk over here and try and show y'all. But with walking through the watermelon forest, I have to do it barefoot, so that way I don't step on any of my leaves or the stems and that. So let's take the shoes off. shoes off, grab these, and let's walk through here. I have to like walk extra careful. I don't want to step on anything. Just because I love my plants. I don't want to damage them in any way. And I don't really get a clearing out of here until I'm over here. I'm going to disturb the area here. So originally, we were going to put, so through this little area here, we have this one trellis covered in morning glories, and we got a cucumber on it as well. But then as you come forward some, we were going to put another trellis right here in front of this one and put cucumbers on it. But since the watermelon has actually grown a lot, like this is how much we're working with, and I really don't want them to kind of combine onto the trellis. So Haley's home. Hey baby, how was school?
Good.
That's good.
This teacher.
Go ahead and go have your snack. Here in a little bit we'll go get your sisters. She's home now. She's pretty well behaved. We'll go get her sisters here in after a bit. I just want to really show you guys because I don't think I'm going to be able to do too much of anything. Our blue clouds are starting to really limit down. We might have to make this a 2-day video instead of a 1-day video, because normally I can make my videos all in one day and then edit it tonight and then be out the next day for you guys. But with this rain, it's really hard to do what I'm trying to do with you guys and do it in along with deal with life as well. But busy mom life. So, but this is where the trellis was going to be. But with the watermelon coming out this way now a lot, I think I'm not going to put the trellis here. I think I'm just going to let the watermelons kind of take over from this point. And then, but I think I am going to let the watermelons take over this point and then let them kind of have this area, let them have at it. And remember guys, make sure you're marking your things off your treasure hunt list. So now with this whole garden being full really, because even in front of this trellis, and I'm going to try and back up as much as I can here. With this trellis, we do have our squash. Our squash has vined out a lot. It's kind of running in every which direction. We did do some pruning the other day because it did have some spots of some powdery mildew on some leaves. As you'll probably see here as I'm moving up, you'll see these leaves like this here and this right here. It's got that white powdery looking texture on it, and that's going to be that powdery mildew. Some of it is from the surround WP that we had on our plants. I did go ahead and put those on it to keep it really protected from anything else. We won't reapply it again because it's not really meant for your squashes and that. I only did it once due to a bug we were having infested into our garden. But they are doing pretty well. It is still producing. They are still getting pretty big. There's a few, like our squash, our cantaloupes our cucumbers over there, and then our cucumber over here that we have on this is also got some downy mildew, and I'll show you guys in a later video on how we're going to go about treating it. But the squash is coming out. It really strings out all the way over here to our marigolds and that. Right here by our zinnias and that, it's coming out too. But it's growing big. Another thing that's really taking a hit from the downy mildew will be our cantaloupes as well. They're also taking a hit from our from the downy mildew as well. Now that's going to be our cantaloupes. Our cantaloupes have definitely taken a big hit with the downy mildew and some powdery mildew. So we did a lot of pruning and things like that off of them. So a lot of it does look like vines. We've been having an issue with an armadillo coming through and digging underneath our plants and that. So we are going to have to get this area fenced in here soon, just to keep him out, because even though he's digging for grub worms, and yes, you don't want grub worms in your garden, but at the same time, you don't want an armadillo digging at the base of your plant, possibly destroying roots. That's one thing you definitely aren't going to want to have happen. Now, we've pretty much viewed the whole back area of our garden. We got this zinnia. That zinnia, we will be transplanting at a later date. I don't want to transplant him yet, but another reason why I want to transplant him is, take a look, guys. You guys see this? These are tomato plants. I didn't put these seeds in here. What happened is the birds must have been digging at a tomato plant, and when they were digging at the tomato plant, they must have gotten a seed and pooped it out. So now we're getting tomato plants where we didn't even want tomato plants. So we're definitely going to have to transplant him out, because he's not going to want to share his pot with these tomato plants, because I'm sure they'll get big. And I don't even know what type of tomato plant these are. I'm hoping it's one of ours. I know some of our fellow neighbors, they do their own gardening, and I hope it's not from their garden. We have another one here that's with our salad, with our lettuce pots, and he's taking over it, as well as he's kind of hiding that lettuce that's down there. In a sense it's good, in a sense it's bad. I just want to show you guys, this is going to be the downy mildew. It's the bright yellow spots, and we're going to do some neem oil treatment along with the baking soda and see if that'll help the life of the plant. With applying your stuff to get rid of the downy mildew and your neem and your powdery mildew and your downy mildew, you want to watch on when you're applying it. You don't want to be applying it late at night. You don't want to apply it middle of the day. You want to try and apply it first thing early morning, because with your cantaloupes and your cucumbers, they don't like that that wet stuff on their leaves, all sitting on it all night long. So putting on it first thing in the morning before the sun even thinks about coming up is pretty ideal on when you should be applying that pesticide for that fungicide. Especially when you're dealing with your cantaloupes and your cucumbers, because they're all of the same family. Even down to your watermelon, you want to keep for early mornings. But what we're going to go ahead and do is, I'm going to go ahead with you guys, and we're going to kind of move everything that we're taking to the flower bed garden area in the front of the house. I'm going to go ahead and take the plants that we're going to be moving up there to the front. I'm going to go ahead and take those. And I've been brainstorming, because my old man brought home a very big pot, and I couldn't decide on what I wanted to do with it. Well, it finally came to me. I have everything out here, but I don't have anything for more near close to the front of the house for if I need it for immediate use. But as everybody says, you don't really use anything of your herbs and that of immediate use, because you have to do the drying out and things like that. So it's a bit different when doing things like that in a pot. So anyway, sorry. What we're gonna have is not the pot that's in here, but well, that's good to know that drains good. Take this out here. Alright, so this pot actually does have a big hole at the bottom, which is even better. I'll probably put another hole on the opposite end, because you see there where that hole is, that's a hole. So we definitely want the hole in there, so that way it helps drain it. But I'll probably put another hole at the opposite side, and then we'll throw a little bit of wood down at the bottom of it, and I'll add a little bit of compost. Well, let me rephrase that. So I'll put the wood in, and then I'll add some soil, and then I'll add some compost, and then I'll add some more soil, and then I'll add mulch, and then I'll add more soil. And then once we get to the, like, at least to right here, I would say, we would fill it up with soil and things like that. And then once I fill everything up, I would then add the mulch on top to help hold in that moisture. And what I'll probably end up doing with this, mother trucker, is I'll probably use this for herbs up near the front of the house. Guys, I came over here as I was talking to you guys about that pot. Came over here to see our watering reservoir where we collect rainwater. The hose that I have going from here all the way down there has taken a fall. Looks like it's just at this end though that it's fallen. This can easily be picked back up. And I'm just going to slide that down some so that way that's not falling again. But I am going to also... This has been a trial and error, guys. So when we have things like this, it's always a trial and error. We've been working on this for a little over a month now, trying to get the flow right, because as you guys probably see here, we don't have a pump that's pushing it to it. We have just the flotation of how the hose is flowing. So with that being said, we have to actually check on it, see how it's doing, make sure it's flowing right. I always like to make sure it is, because after so much water inside the hose will collapse. But that's just, I think, due because we don't have enough hooks. If you guys have any ideas on maybe how I can make it better, definitely leave down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' tips and advice on that. Like I said, I'm just working with gravity, really. There's no flotation device for the hose because it is hooked to the gutter of the greenhouse. But just really quickly, guys, I mean, our wheelbarrow, our rain catcher here has been catching lots of water. It is doing its justice, and as you guys can see, it's about at the full top here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this stuff off the top here so that way it's not going in it, because I definitely don't want it inside there, and I don't want it clogging up those holes. But as you guys can see, it's definitely holding in water. No, the water probably don't look all that great, but it's rainwater that it's catching from the gutters. So anything and everything can fall down these hoses. A lot of the stuff will go to the top and stay at the top, like the leaves and that. But when you have rain and water that's flowing through pine straw and things like that, it'll kind of look gunky like that. Someone did tell me to put motor oil in the rain catcher and it would help keep mosquitoes out of the rain catcher. I thought about it before I even did it. Like, that doesn't really sound too good, because if it's motor oil, and we all have to keep in mind, if you're gonna put motor oil inside your rain catcher, well, you got to think, if you're using that rain catcher to water any fruits or vegetables, that motor oil that's in that water is going to be sucked into the water. But even though it'll be floating at the top, because any oil floats to the top, because it separates itself from that. So even though it floats to the top, if we ever get super low and we use the last bit, then we have that possibility of getting the motor oil in with the water and possibly feeding it to our plants. And we do sometimes, not even sometimes, a lot of the times we do end up using all the rain out of it. Well, guys, told you we're not going to be able to get through this. It's already starting to rain. I gotta start getting things together. What was I saying? Oh, so if we use all the rainwater out of the rain barrel, we would also be getting that motor oil that's inside that rain barrel. and any type of chemicals and things like that that are inside that oil are going to be floating around in that water. And if it's got a lot of chemicals and things that we shouldn't be eating, you definitely don't want to use it on your plants, especially your veggies. Like, if you have veggie plants and fruit plants growing outside your house, you're not fixing to call somebody to come clean your house with chemicals, because those chemicals can possibly get into your plants and then into your fruits or veggies, whatever you have growing there. So you definitely have to be very precautious on where you're putting things, and things like that. Anytime you're growing fruits and veggies, those I would definitely always recommend not planting near the home, just for the mere fact that those are going to be the things you're going to be eating. Those are going to be the plants you're not really going to want anybody to get any chemicals on, because even though you're going to be doing a lot of watering with them and they're going to be growing big and great and all that for a while, yes, that is true. But here's the thing. Even though, let's say a month later, it's starting to produce, you're going to possibly taste the chemical or the whatever it is that was applied to the base of the plant into that fruit. And that's something you definitely don't want to do. So I would never recommend planting any fruits and vegetables close to the house, just for that mere fact. One thing I like to do is do a lot of our flowers by the house. They're pretty. They're not gonna cause any harm to the house. I don't have to really worry about any chemicals going on them, because it's not like we're eating any of the flower petals. And one thing, because let me tell you guys, my old man does pressure, it's either pressure washing or soft wash. I always get the two mixed up because it's not my profession, it's his. But I always get the two mixed up. But anywho, he'll always tell people, it's going to be hard to wash that area because the chemicals will go into the plant. And, he'll tell me, babe, we can't put mulch around the house, up against the house, because it'll splash black spots all over the house. Even with having trees around the house, he doesn't like, because it'll allow the house to get dirtier quicker. Yes, even though having no trees around the house and the house being in sunlight all day long, every day, will make the house hotter. That is true. But I would rather deal with a higher electric bill than having to pay somebody probably $1,000 just to wash my house. Like, that is a true fact. Like, hands down. So, I'm not gonna get everything done. So, sadly enough, guys, we are not getting anything done today out here. I'm actually currently collecting everything as I'm talking to you guys. We are actually going to have to make this a 2-day video due to the rain. I already know I'm not going to be able to get everything done that I need to get done. I mean, I can, but you guys won't be able to tag along with me. My device is not waterproof yet. Once it becomes waterproof, I'd love to have y'all out in the rain with me in that, but we can't have that just yet, because it's not waterproof. So we're just going to go ahead and start getting everything close to being wrapped up inside. It's not raining super heavy yet, but here in our Florida zone 8B, once it starts sprinkling a little bit, you can rest assured that there's going to be some heavy raindrops coming shortly. And I can even feel the difference of how quickly it's starting to drop on us. So, I guess to be continued. Alright guys, so we are here on day 2 of our garden. Shenanigans pretty much at this rate. I've been out in the garden since probably like 6 this morning. I've been really busy with everything. It was raining
majority of this morning, it's been raining, so I really wasn't able to take you guys along with me. As I said before, my camera's not waterproof fully yet. So that's why we weren't able to film it. And my 2-year-old is taking the cushion that was behind me. Why are you throwing those out there? Those don't go out there. Those don't go out. Alright, so anyways, guys. Got kids home. Excuse me. But no, I did a lot this morning while it was raining. I couldn't bring my camera out with me. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys back out here to where we were yesterday. And kind of show you guys some of the things that I've done this morning. So that way y'all can see. So that way you're still kind of coming along with the ride as we go. Now, one thing I did go ahead and do, I did go ahead and go through with spraying our solution for our powdery mildew and our downy mildew. I'm not sure how well it took this morning. I wasn't expecting the rain to hit us so suddenly, but it did. So we might see changes over the next few days. I'm going to keep an eye on everything and see how it's looking. But let's go ahead and take a look here. I'm going to walk around here. I haven't added anything new to the greenhouse, so we don't need to go back in there. But what we did go ahead and do, what do you have? No! Child picking blueberries, or not blueberries, but blackberries, and they ain't even fully ready yet. What's wrong with her? No. No, ma'am. No touch. Sorry, I had to get that firm voice with the 2-year-old. She likes to pick things when she's out in the garden, and I like that she likes that, but she got to slow her roll, okay? Got to actually harvest them all at once and not just keep picking up. But anyways, so yeah, I did spray the solution for the downy mildew and the powdery mildew, but I don't think it took due to that rain that we got this morning. So I'll probably have to reapply it again. I'm probably going to wait some time because we're supposed to get some more rain. So we'll see. I did show you guys the eggplant that I did transplant in here. And I am in the wrong section of the garden because I didn't add anything to this section. So, and I hope y'all still have your treasure hunt list because you gonna need it. Alright, so over here in the watermelon area, get her before she steps on something. Kids, I swear. I don't know if y'all seen him, but he seen me right here. So we're going to make it quick so that way the hummingbird can come eat. But we did transplant this Canaan lily. So he is added in here now. And I put him right here in front of the trellis. At least something's going to collect this space up. I did also add our broccoli in here. This is going to be our green sprout broccoli. They were kind of stretching, and they were definitely ready to come to their new area. So I went ahead and transplanted these guys here. Now, because I transplanted 2 Canaan lilies in this area, and I walked right past it. This is going to be the other guy that I did transplant. This was a marigold until the limbs and that broke off on it and were splitting in half. So we had to cut everything out and remove him altogether out of here. but everything so far is looking good, even beside the powdery mildew. And another good example is going to be this. That is full of powdery mildew, and there's a few things you can do to treat powdery mildew and downy mildew. You can use neem oil and dish soap mixed with some baking soda, and that'll help clear up the neem oil as well. Not neem oil, but the powdery mildew and downy mildew as well. Another thing you can do to remove it altogether is removing the plant. So that'll move it all together, but it'll remove the plant as well. So those are your basic options for the powdery mildew and the downy mildew. Like I said, guys, our plants are taking a hit. We do live in a Florida zone 8B, so we have high humidity. It's hot at times, so it's definitely a struggle with mildew here in our zone. But so far, gotta show you guys, looks like some of it did apply, that we applied to the squash. It is staying in effect because some of the leaves do look a lot better. So the neem oil with the dish soap and the baking soda, it does work, as long as the rain's not washing off of it. But that's pretty much what we've done back here. We're gonna go ahead and jump to the front now. So other than the back garden, we really haven't done too much back there. We do need to expand it, which will be pretty much our next step in everything, because I am starting to run out of space. I got more that's going to need to be transplanted, and in order for me to transplant it, we got to make the space for it and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and flip you guys around and show you what I also did this morning. Now keep in mind, this morning it has been raining, so I did get plenty wet, unfortunately. It's more than what I'd like to on a early morning at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever time it was that I was doing this. But I'm going to flip you guys around and go ahead and show you guys what I got going on. So in this area, I did a lot of weeding. As you guys can see, the weeds, I did pull a marigold that did not look too hot. It was looking really bad, so I wanted to go ahead and remove it. One thing with this area is we do have a lot of marigolds. As you can see, that one's not doing so well either, so we'll probably remove him, because when we planted these guys, they were severely surrounded by the weeds, so I had to come through here and remove them, because we didn't expect to have these plants, because my old man did a unprofessional gardening thing, which was spread seeds throughout the whole garden area. As you can see, we have some marigolds popping up in there that I kind of don't want there, because they are in the middle of this azalea and this holly bush, so it's going to definitely crowd them. And I like our plants to have airflow, because without that airflow, we get the mildew. So another thing I did add, besides the weeding that I did here, I did go ahead and add our 4 o'clocks here. They are a stem plant, so we're going to see how well they're doing it. They weren't liking it so well in the pot I had them in, so we're going to see how well they'll like being in the ground now. Moving over, we did get a lot of this weeded, and it looks like I might have missed one, because that is not part of that, so I need to get him out of there too. But we did get a lot of the weeding done, and if you see, there's something to mark off your treasure hunt. But yeah, we do have a lot of marigolds. I kind of want to incorporate something other than marigolds, because we got a lot of them. We have a lot of marigolds. So I want to start adding in something new, something more fresh, that's going to really catch our people's eye as they come through. Now, I did go ahead and bring our petunia up here. It so far has been doing good. It's taken a little bit of a hit. but it is doing good. I do need to get something to hang it up on, so that way the flowers can actually droop down and hang down like they really want to. But moving on to this section, I did go ahead and weed eat everything through here, and got all that done. So everything is going to have the breather room, the wiggle room that it needs. And it's definitely going to love its new area and space that it's in. So now moving over, and my 2-year-old helped me with some of the new plants we have here. I'm going to flip you guys around real quick and just get you a better angle here. So my 2-year-old helped me transplant these little guys in. She helped me dig the holes and everything. She really wanted to do it, so I was like, why not? Gotta have one baby really into gardening. Even though the others are interested in it, but they don't like to hang through it. They get bored, and ADHD, I tell you. But this here is going to be another one of our Canaan lilies. We have different color Canaan lily seeds, so I'm not sure exactly which one this is. They kind of got scattered about, so we'll kind of see what it will be as it grows. I did want to add a zinnia up here. Zinnias are very pretty. This one's been through isolation because it showed serious signs of powdery mildew. So I had to take it into an isolation. And as you can see, some, and just barely some powdery mildew still left on them. But as you can see, his lower leaves were taken off due to that powdery mildew. Now, if you're seeing powdery mildew, you can remove the leaves, but depending on the plant, you want to watch how much of the leaves you do remove. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Now, we did go ahead and add in these 2 other Canaan lilies. And these are going to be just like this one. We're not sure on the color of it, but we'll know once it starts booming out. So we did get some of this area weeded. We pulled the weeds pretty much. I don't know why I keep trying to say weed eating, because I didn't use a weed eater, an actual weed eater. I just pulled the weeds by hand. So we did get a lot of that done. I did remove a lot of the marigolds that we had over here to clear up the space for these guys, because let's just be honest, I have a tons of marigolds, and all these marigolds over here were just falling apart and their stems were pretty much broke. These guys are doing really great. And I mentioned to you guys that we did a crossbreed of our marigolds. So what I mean by that is we planted our French colored marigold, which is a yellow with red stripes marigold, which is up more near the front. We mixed it with a yellow marigold, yellow flower marigold. So once we started doing the seeds from it, we actually got a whole different type of marigold. The blooms were a lot bigger. They were a lot more noticeable. The plant's bigger itself. So it was definitely different. So not only was the plant different, but the bloom colors were different as well. This is what they came out. This is the mix of the yellow and the red. They're very orangey looking, with a dark red tint to them. They're very beautiful. Now, normally a dwarf marigold's bloom is about this size, but these blooms are actually going bigger because of that crossbreed that we did. Now, you do hear people say all the time, oh, crossbreeding isn't good, you don't want to do crossbreeding and things like that. In a sense, no, you don't want to crossbreed your veggies, your fruits, and things like that. That is something you don't want to do. You can crossbreed with your flowers, but just know if you crossbreed with flowers, you're not going to get the same type of flower every time. So it's definitely tricky. I started with marigolds at first because I really wanted to see what would come out of it with doing it with the marigolds. Now I'll play a little bit more with more flowers as time goes, but this is just the starting area. Now, one thing we've noticed recently, because I have planted mammoth sunflowers over here. One second. kids climbing on something they shouldn't and possibly getting hurt. That's what I don't need. So with their mammoth sunflowers, they're only supposed to have one bloom, and it's only supposed to last for so long, and then it'll die off and you'll get seeds from it. Well, we have a mammoth sunflower, and I'm going to flip you guys around to show you. We have this mammoth, and he did his bloom, and it's dying off, as you guys can see. He's got some big size seeds in there that aren't just quite ready yet. But then he's also shot off 3 side shoots. That's not supposed to happen. So what I think is what's happened here is, I think this guy, I fed him compost water, and the compost water gave so much that he was already almost done blooming, so they just decided to shoot out side shoots. Now this other one I do have here, he was much bigger, as you guys can see, but he's definitely died off, so I'm just giving him time to really get those seeds pollinated, because you want the back of the head like a really dark brown color. So once he turns brown, I can cut the head off and harvest the seeds from it and have more mammoth seeds. So that's really the idea there behind on why I haven't fully cut him down yet. So we do hope, once that bloom browns up and everything, we can get some more mammoth seeds, because our mammoth plants, they were like gone before I even knew it, because everybody wanted them, which they are very pretty. The only thing is with sunflowers, and this is with all your sunflowers, is you are going to want a concession sow. So once it comes closer time for that sunflower to die off, you would hopefully have another sunflower in its place to take its place. So that's kind of the idea that you will need to have for your sunflowers, because they only last for so long, and then you'll need to put another one in, because they're not pre-annuals, they're annuals, so they only last for so long. I'm tired, guys. I need to sit down. I'm yawning again. Oh Lord. We are getting ready to put together a compost bin, a bigger compost. So we do have our compost tumblers, but we're going to be making another part to it so we can have a much bigger compost pile. So that way we can really start making our own soil and getting our own soil in. Now, I will come through here again and reapply our solution for the powdery mildew and that, so that way I can try and get rid of it, because the powdery mildew it'll stunt the plant and cause it not to grow as much as it should, and that's something I definitely don't want. Now, one of my most recent sunflowers is the Velvet Queen sunflower, and I'm getting ready to show it to you, as you guys probably see it sitting up here. This flower is so beautiful. Now I'm going to show you this one currently, but then I'm going to show you what they look like once they're fully bloomed, because they are so beautiful. They're not like your yellow sunflowers that you see all the time, but that is what he is currently looking like. Now, can you imagine that fully bloomed and fully opened up? He's going to be 2 times bigger. And this is what he looks like once he's fully opened up. Now, some of the things I did have to do as well, I'll actually have to wait for my old man to be home, because I'll need his strong back muscles to do it, because for one, the pots are heavy, and for 2, it's going to need a lot of bending over, and I can't do that much bending over. So there's that. So we're going to have to save some for next time. And I'm just going to show you, because guys, I love these sunflowers. These are like my new favorite sunflowers, I swear. Look at that beauty. Isn't it so freaking beautiful? So freaking beautiful. I freaking love them. I don't care if y'all don't love them. I freaking love them. So I mean, I care if y'all don't like them. I mean, that I do obviously care about that. But still gonna grow them regardless. That part. So this guy, we are actually gonna need to prune him. Well, we do need to prune him, but we also do need to fix him up because he is hanging incorrectly. See there? Whole limb laying sideways. So I'm gonna have to fix him. But so far everything is looking really good. I really can't complain. We just need to go through and reapply the solution for the downy mildew and the powdery mildew. So that way we can really tackle that. And then from there, it's really just expanding. So when I say expanding, I'm just going to show you guys really quickly here. When I say expanding, as you guys can see here, we expanded from where right there at the line of these big tall tomatoes at, where this ladder over here is. So from the edge of that ladder out to over here is where we've expanded. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take it from here, and then we're going to come all the way to really right there, that line. So I'm going to set y'all down here. Alright, so let's move the wagon out the way here, so that way y'all can see it better. So when we expand, we'll go from right here, which is the edge of our garden currently, all the way to pretty much right here. So that way this will give us all new room. So what we'll do is I'll pretty much go through here, I'll knock all these weeds down, you know. We'll obviously not have stuff like this out here. But we'll kind of weed all this through, and then we'll add some organic matter through here to help boost out the to fertilize the ground, help bring in that nutrients and things like that. And then once we do that, then we'll lay newspaper down as a compost material, and then from there we'll then mulch the whole area, kind of like what we did here. We laid the compost cow manure throughout this whole bed, and then laid newspaper down, and then put the mulch on top of the newspaper. Now the newspaper has helped tremendously as everything is flourishing in this area, and it has not stopped and doesn't seem to stop for quite some time. So aside from everything, what we're gonna do now, what I'm gonna show you guys, so when we have our stands set up, we normally rotate out the location of our stands, so that way we can work within people's area. We do hold a stand down here in our Crawfordville area, and then up in our Tallahassee area. And every so often we will go to community events, especially if they're advertised and things like that. So I'm just walking out here really quick to show you guys how our stands look when we do it here at our location where we do all our gardening, where everything really takes place. So let's walk up here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn you guys around. So this is what our stand looks like. We do have a lot. Normally we have an additional bigger table. We bring out all the seedlings, all the new plants, pretty much everything we offer. That pretty much everything you see here is also some that we will have in our garden as well. So we're pretty well rounded with the plants that we're growing, because we're also growing them ourselves. But we do set everything up. We have the full setup of it. We'll have our signs out that mention our channels and our groups and things like that. And then I do place our beautiful plant sale nursery sign up here by the road, so that way people can see it. But that is going to be our little stand there.
But that is going to be it, guys. I've really held up your time long enough with this 2-day video. So I just want to go ahead and thank you guys for staying tuned, keeping up with us. You guys are amazing. And until next time, you guys stay growing and stay being amazing. Deuces.